I hate when you do that.
I am here with Brazil and the most recently evicted house guest, Bridget, who is here to dish the dirt now on Big Brother Cheesecake 7 Chocolate Heaven. Hello, I'm Andrew Shevsik Moonves. Welcome to Big Brother Cheesecake 7 Chocolate Heaven. It's day 60 inside the Big Brother Cheesecake house, and this week Owen is the head of household. He nominated Kennedy and Rayanne for eviction, but then Willy Wonka very surprisingly nominated Michael as the third nominee. And I don't know because I'm filming this 24 hours in advance, but I have a feeling there's going to be a shitstorm. Unless there's some big grand master plan I don't know about, but we shall find out. Who will win the Golden Power Veto? We'll find out tomorrow. But first, we are here on Extra Whip with Brazil. Nicole couldn't be here again. She and Evan are trying to break a different Guinness Book of World Records record this week for the longest sexual encounter. They're at 8 hours now and counting. It's very impressive. The guy dressed like Orville Redenbacher is in the room, like timing it with his like stopwatch thingy. What's the other watch called? The one with the click, the chess watch, whatever. And if there's a book published, I don't know if they still publish the book for Guinness Book of World Records and like Barnes and Noble and whatnot. I don't ever go there, but books. But if they still publish the book, I want it written in the book that I'm very impressed that the stamina for 8 hours, especially when she's pregnant, it's very impressive. But anyway, Nicole claims she'll be back next week, but I doubt it. Okay, so Bridget, welcome. I have to admit, I don't want anybody before me to be like ultra upset, but you're probably the most heartbreaking eviction for me so far of the season, just because you were doing so well. You were doing so good. And it's not even that you played a crappy week. It was just the poo. The poo hit you at the worst possible time because you couldn't play it on the double. Well, you could, but it would have been a dumb thing then. You then had 2 weeks where you had unsympathetic head of households who put you on the block, so you couldn't take yourself off with the poo because you can't do that. So you were forced to use it this week. And of course, this week you had a HOH you were aligned with, but it didn't really matter because then and you survived last week against Callum. You survived the week before against Kilby. So you were capable of surviving if you could have put yourself on the block, but you just couldn't. So tell us a bit about that experience this week and what went down.
Well, the writing was kind of on the wall, I think. I wasn't in with the people I used to be in with anymore. And it is what it is. And I think especially knowing that I couldn't even compete in the HOH was really disheartening. And so I decided instead that I was just going to have fun and, just kind of find my own fun in the game, because after Kilby left, it wasn't fun for me anymore. And so I was like, I'm going to make my own fun. And so that was the goal of the last couple of rounds, was just have fun. And I accomplished that. So I'm proud of myself, and I made jury. I'm 2 for 2 making jury, and I think that's pretty great.
I'm 0 for 2 on my first 2 games of making jury. So see, you did much better than I did. And you're right. You made jury. You made the final 8. So you got through half of the evictions. And I think you overall played a great game. And we're going to get into it later, but you did have 2 fantastic moves earlier this season that had you made it to the end would have been definitely talking points. We're going to get to that in a second. I do want to quickly, because I know I'm going to forget, you had the utilities, which are not really worth much, as Marcin likes to say, because Marcin carried them in season 4. You do get to bequeath those to the house guests of your choice. Who would you like to give the utilities to?
She's already got a target on her, so I'm gonna give him to my girl Kennedy because I think she needs him.
Okay, so Kennedy now has the light blue, the red, the yellow, and the utilities. Okay. I also think that it is a shame that because of the poo, you couldn't play in the head of household competition, because I can't speak for Steven, but I think you would have been a contender to win head of household in winner's choice. You would have definitely been one of the likely possibilities. And I did say in the episode too, I wish would have been able to win one or two things. I know you don't have to win, but I feel like it would have been so good if you had one. You couldn't have had it this week, but like the week before or something. Because
I agree. These I am not a challenge beast by any stretch of the imagination. Um, and I thought with some of these, because it's like, oh, like the one that was like the chocolate trivia, I was like, oh, like I'm kind of good at trivia, and then like fell on my face in that one. Um, and then like this last one that I played in that, like it wouldn't matter because I was evicted, but there was like the banana bread. I was like, I saw that immediately, and I was like, oh, it's like something with bananas, and then I like said something stupid. So yeah, definitely a big flop in the comps this time around, but that's not surprising given me as like a person.
how do you think you would have done at Mr. Bingo? First with the Mr. Universe part. No, not well.
uh I don't know, because I guess like I think people were probably trying to play to you, right? Honestly, this is like being 100% real. If I would have been in that comp, I think I would have just like sent a picture of Steven, because like that would have been funny to me.
See, I don't think it would have won because there were 9 judges. I also think no offense, Stephen, but there were other alumni that might have made me chuckle more and maybe would have given a higher score. But I would have given a high score to Stephen. I will
What if
admit that.
I submitted Tom?
That would have been funny.
I
Yes.
think Tom might have won if you had done that.
Ooh.
That would have been a 999. And I think Brazil was a judge, not knowing who that was. I think she might have given a high score to Tom just because of.
I would have given Tom 999.
Yeah. And not to objectify Tom, because like he's more than just a pretty face, but
he's Miss Congeniality.
Absolutely.
He's going to some car show this weekend in Kelowna where there's like a whole bunch of cars, and of course Curtis will be there, and it's going to be really, really hot. So he's already complaining that he needs to leave by 10 a.m. once it gets to like 100 degrees because he needs to go home. It's very amusing. You're going to have a good time with Tom in the jury and friends chat.
I know. I missed his little updates.
Yeah,
they're great.
Yeah. Okay, so you made 2 phenomenal moves this season. The second one I wasn't jumping up and down about, but it was a big move. But the first move that you made, I was floored with. So I had been saying that there was a pro Ronnie and an anti Ronnie side. And a lot of people are sick and tired of hearing this. But I didn't really give the full story because I didn't want to out you. But the pro Ronnie and anti Ronnie thing didn't just stem from that Yankee swap veto competition. It stemmed from somebody spilling the beans about Ronnie's plans to a whole bunch of other people. Would you like to enlighten us as to what happened that week?
Well, I know that. I mean, I think you're talking about the alliance, right?
Yes.
So there was that 6-person alliance that was I believe it was Brooke, Owen, Stephanie, Javier, Ronnie, Rayanne.
Yes.
And I found out about it. I'm not going to name my sources because a lady never tells. And I immediately told Jenna about this. Not immediately, actually. I sat on it for a little bit because I didn't want to like, betray confidence. But then I was kind of like, you know what? There's like this big alliance, and not like Jenna's HOH and also Willy Wonka. Like somebody from that alliance needs to go on the block like right now. And I don't even think she put any of them on the block.
Did you know that Ronnie gave her or helped her get Willy Wonka that week?
I didn't. Well, she told me eventually because he was like, I know it's her, and he was telling everybody he knew who Willy Wonka was, and then she like told me that he was like kind of giving her
So yeah,
like.
so yeah, you were and it literally just like 2 months later finally dawned on my head. When Ronnie was here, I said the genesis of the pro Ronnie and anti Ronnie. 2 months later, it just clicked. The word I was looking for was catalyst. You were the catalyst, right? It finally clicked. I'm like, Genesis. Like, you were the catalyst for that anti-Ronnie movement, which was ironic because then you ended up, after Ronnie was gone, kind of siding more so with the pro-Ronnie side. You didn't really get in bed with the anti-Ronnies. Then 4 weeks later, well, actually, no, 3 weeks prior, you were Willy Wonka, spoiler alert, and you you decided to nominate Brooke just for basically the chaos. You didn't expect Brooke to go, but you thought this will be fun. Let's see what happens. And of course, Brooke, lost her shit as usual. And then when Brooke found out about it after you were nominated and you said, well, screw it, I'm in danger. I may as well just spill. You had a spill session where you spilled a lot of tea. It was very entertaining. And one of the things you spilled was that you put Brooke on the block. And Brooke says to you, did Karen tell you to do this? And you respond, and I quote, no, Stephen did. And of course then, so would you like to enlighten us there? And even enlighten me a little, because I think there's parts of this that I don't even know.
So, okay, so this is like going back weeks, right? And there are people who are saying that alumni are interfering in the game and all of this stuff. Meanwhile, I am talking to Karen a lot. We are talking about the game, and this is like something I just like want on the record, and this is like the only thing that is really important for me to say to everybody who was pressed about that. I just want you all to know that there is absolutely nothing or very little that either Karen or Steven could have done that actually would have like been meaningful to me in the game. Like, it's not like they had insight into what the other players were thinking, really. They didn't have, like, basically what would happen is I would say to Karen, oh, this is the challenge. She was like, oh yeah, I did that. It was really hard. Like, that was pretty much, and then we would talk back and forth about the people in the house, but it was basically just me bouncing ideas off of her. So, like, that's what that was. I didn't really talk to Steven a whole lot until all of this. And so, people are getting taught. There's a lot of buzz about that. Steven and Karen are trolling everybody. I think it's really funny. And now that, I'm not in a great position in the game, I want to like get in on the fun too. And so I told everybody Karen's like coaching me through the game, which is like not really true. And then for some reason, when Brooke said that thing about did Karen, it was literally like,
so it was a split-second decision to respond to her with that. Okay.
Because I said so like I said it in the main chat. It was like, when a cat looks like they're about to knock something off a shelf and then they kind of stop themselves for a second and then they're like, no, I'm going to do it. It was like that, because she said, did Karen tell you to do it? And I said, no. And then I was like, oh shit, I should have said she did. And then I was like, no, Steven did. And just because I knew that it would like, and this is the thing too, that I also want to say, like, I was not trying to like get, like, I was a little bit trolling the viewers, but mostly I was trying to troll the people in the game. And the people in the game, like, could not have given less of a fuck as far as I could tell.
Was that the day that the whole explosion happened where Jenna called? No, that was after
that was after cunt gate.
Cunt gate, yeah. Okay, so I did not know that it was a split-second decision, because then there was a miscommunication between Steven and I, where Steven then it would have been in the season 6 chat, which the chats are always still alive. Brazil is still in the one with Lindsay, and I try to like revive it here and there, and
I don't have that Facebook anymore.
Oh, it's a different. Oh, I have to add you to that then. You have a different Facebook account. That's right. So it's the wrong Brazil and Lindsay and I in a season 4 chat. But anyway, remind me to fix that. Okay. Lindsay misses you, and you're coming in November.
I talk to Lindsay all the time, like separately from you. I'm sorry.
Thanks for not including me. Okay, so, what was it? So then there was a miscommunication because Steven then he likes to make things sometimes bigger than they are. And he, in our season 6 chat, said, this was this big, elaborate ploy. Step 1, we do this. Step 2, he didn't say we. Step 1, this happens. Step 2, this happens. Step 3, this happens. Step 4, this happens. Step 5, this happens. And he even said that I got duped. And so I was under the impression that you and Steven had this entire elaborate plan for weeks. And apparently it was just a spur of the moment. Steven did it. But I think he got so happy for you doing that and for causing that drama that he blew it up. And I thought, because Steven is the type to do that, the type to, play manipulation and whatnot. So I kind of fell for it. And so I do feel a little bit bad there because if it wasn't an elaborate plot from Steven, which I believe him when he says it's not, then, I feel bad because I kind of, the only thing I did was I installed that one rule that you can't talk to alumni about game. But I do agree that, and you've said it, Bridget, I still don't think any of the evictions this season would have changed with or without Karen and Steven talking to people. But yeah, so I didn't know that. So thank you for telling us that was literally just Brooke was spiraling and you were like, no, Steven told me. Because then Steven went Brooke went to Steven and went off on him. I thought you were my friends. How could you do this to me? You got me nominated week 4. You put my game into jeopardy. And Karen and Steven, being Karen and Steven, just didn't respond to her because that's their classic thing to do, that they just leave people on red and as a joke, which you're not in the game. You can at least tell her, sorry, it was a joke, which I think they have now. But I did feel bad for Brooke because
I did too.
Now, the poor girl, Brooke, she's taken a lot of crap. But I do want to ask you, Bridget, this is her 2nd season. She's already claimed I'm the nominee that made it, she's claimed the returnee who made it the furthest prize, trophy, whatever. She's broken that record. She's the returnee that made it the furthest. She now has the Sapphire Power Veto and the Emerald Power Veto. She got 2 on the Lindor sampler because she was guaranteed 1, and then the wheel miraculously finally landed on her. Do you think somebody, I won't say who, but an alumni came to me and said, is Brooke going to win? I'm like, I don't know. What do you think are her chances? You look like you're smelling a wet fart.
She would not get my vote. I can't speak for anyone else. I just don't think.
Is this something that a month of going out for massages and drinks and restaurants or whatever you do, or for your, I don't know why I said those things. Is this something that a month can fix, or is this something that's like you're definitely not voting for her no matter what, even in 3 years?
I just don't like the flying off the handle, and I personally was a victim of it when it was said that I was gaslighting her. That was a little not my favorite thing. I think I don't see a lot of intentional gameplay happening, and that's sort of what I look for as a juror.
Since you're evicted, you just reminded me can you tell people to stop using the word gaslighting for everything? That comment came from you. So any gaslighting commentary was in people's one-on-one chats that I'm not in, because the alliance chats that I'm in and the DRs, nobody's been saying that word to me. And in the main chat, that word hasn't come up, but it's clearly been coming up in one-on-ones. Did you want to?
Yeah. Just like if you have a disagreement with and this is actually something I'm very passionate about. So like, thank you for giving me the platform. If you're like disagreeing with somebody, that's not gaslighting. If you're lying to somebody in a game about lying, that's not gaslighting. Like words mean things.
I will say that depending on your definition of the word cunt, which in this game, because of that incident in season 5, which if you haven't watched season 5, day 98, where Kat calls Chantel a cunt, it's highly entertaining. Because of that, that word in this org has a lot less of a meaning because it gets thrown around a lot. But besides Jenna calling Kilby a cunt, which is debatable, I don't think there's been any serious lines crossed. I think overall everybody's been pretty respectful as a whole. And when lines are like, even the cow thing, when Callum called Brooke a cow, he did apologize. So
Yeah.
as a whole, I don't think that the level of harmony has gone below a certain point. I think everybody's going to like each other after the season. I don't think this is going to be a let's block everyone type thing.
Yeah.
Like All Stars was, but
Yeah, no, it's all game for me. Like, and that's the thing, because this is like my second game, and I know how hard it is to, like, I don't think you can play without emotion, but I do think that, you know, you need to figure out like how to use your emotions effectively. And so that's like something that I really look for in somebody that I think is a good player, is like sitting with, you know, whatever feeling you have, and then moving forward in a way that makes sense with your game, which is not what I did in the game, by the way. I definitely didn't do that in this game. So
if you can teach me how to play without emotion, that would be great, either of you, because I need to learn that. So 2 questions that I have for one question that I can't, if you want, we can do it after. I always ask, who do you think voted to evict you? I can't do it because some of the house guests don't know who the one vote was. And so it was a 3-1 to 0 vote. I have a feeling you know, but I don't want to say it on the air because it's kind of a topic of discussion in the house. But what I will do is get to the other question that I ask everybody is, who do you think will win the game, and who do you want to see win the game?
I think Owen will win if he gets to the end. I think he's a lock. And I would like to see Kennedy win because I think she's very rootable. I love an underdog. I don't think that she deserves to be in the kind of bad position that she's in. I think it's like unwarranted, and it's kind of giving like sorority a little bit, and like she's the pledge that she went to Rush and like didn't make it. So I'm rooting for Kennedy.
Sororities, what? No, sorry. Do you think that Kennedy has a chance? Because you're right, she's not in a great position after last week.
She has all those Monopoly pieces at least.
Yeah, I mean, you know, because it's hard to win out in Big Brother because, you know, you can't win twice in a row.
Right, but Chanel did win from around this, actually, yeah, around this point, Chanel won her way. She won HOH or veto each week, so it's
true.
Possible.
Yeah, you can. I guess it's hard to imagine. Like, I think that there is like a very pretty rigid hierarchy, which is a shame.
So you're learning now, yeah, you learned today that Willy Wonka put Michael up. Does that surprise you?
A little bit, because I feel like people have been, well, I guess not really, because if Owen is HOH, Michael very well could have been somebody's like second or third choice for Wonka. So I guess at this point it is kind of hard. And like, by the way, I'm so surprised that Willy Wonka is still going. I really thought it was going to be Survivor time. I've lost track. I have no idea who it is, but I'm proud of you. Good job.
Wow. Let's quickly, I think we're going to be running short on time soon, but let's quickly just go through each house guest and I'll ask both of you what your general thoughts are. Do you think they have a chance to win? How do you feel about them? I will quickly mention that Team Brazil lost another member. You can blame Curtis for your demise. So Team Brazil is down to Rayanne, Michael, and Javier. Team Nicole is Jenna, Owen, Brooke, Kennedy. Which team do you think is stronger overall?
I mean, Team Nicole has the numbers, but I feel like the other team is pretty, I think they all have like decent win equity, honestly.
Okay, that's fair. Okay, so let's talk about, we kind of talked about Brooke. Anything you want to add, Brazil? Because you didn't get a chance there.
No, I don't. Let's move on.
Oh, okay. Oh no, Brooke is okay. Let's move on to Javier. I know we don't talk about
Yeah.
Javier a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's great. I love like a cockroach under the radar game. Cockroach. Why did you make that face? Cockroach is, I think, I want to clarify this. Cockroach is like a good thing to be in an org, because it just means that you just like nothing happens to you, nothing can kill you because you're just so under, and that's like what I kind of aspire to be. So I think that's like great. I'd never know what he's thinking at any moment. And that's why I kind of wanted him out. And everybody's like, no, like it's fine. So honestly, like he could blow me away at Final Jury and I'd love to see it.
Okay. I think he's definitely an underdog. He has overall played a good game. It's going to be tough for him to get to the end, but I agree that he has a good story if he makes it there, especially being the only person from Argentina or from like outside of North America. That's always, that gives bonus points. Brazil, anything you want to add about Javier?
I know little to nothing about him or his game other than he's competing for second place constantly. I don't know.
Yeah, so he's come in second place 5 times.
Mm.
Corey, he's not going to get to Corey's 9 times, but do you think that if he should start to try and win, or do you think that this has been helping him not having power?
I think you should always get out threat.
Yeah.
Like I don't understand anyway. Yeah, you should, of course he should.
Okay. Jenna.
Oh, Jenna. She's another one I'm not really sure like what the intentionality behind the gameplay is. It seems like it's just vibes, which is like cool. I like vibes. And I think, in a sense that she has win equity because of the voice memos and like just like kind of being like a fun person. Um, so I definitely see a social game.
Brazil.
I mean, she's fun to hear about.
Yeah. I think if she makes it to the end, she's going to have a tough time convincing people to give her the money because she's been a team player and she's definitely fun and her social game is obviously 100%, but I haven't seen a move yet. Right. Besides, of course, the Ronnie thing, but that was 2 months ago now. And it's hard to say that my week 3 move is deserving of the win. So I definitely think she needs to do at least one more thing. That's just my opinion, to win.
To be fair, though, I think this final 8 is one of the strongest, like contention-wise for the end. Like I feel like any of them could have made an argument to win.
Oh, I definitely don't think Jenna would. I don't think anybody can make it to the end. Brooke is probably in the lowest position currently, but I wouldn't say she's out of it. But I think I agree, any of the 8 could win. Okay, so Kennedy, kind of discussed her.
Yeah.
I will say the details are in yesterday's episode. She's been going through a lot. And
right, yeah.
I don't know how much you know. I don't want to talk about other orgs, but she was in the hospital because she had a panic attack. And apparently it was caused from allegedly the host of another org berating her about something in the game, which if that's true, and I'm not the thing, then that's just wrong because ultimately it's supposed to be about the fun. And how can you be mean to Kennedy? Like she's like, you've seen her on the Zooms. Like she really is a sweetheart. Even if she stabs you in the back, you still want to be her friend. Like it's,
I would say thank you. Do it again, honey.
Okay, Michael.
Michael was like the most frustrating person to play with in the game to me. Like I wanted him out so early on because I was just like, there is like no working with this guy. Like he talks the talk and like, I want to like work together, blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, it just like wasn't happening. And I really was frustrated by him in the game. That's another one that I'm like not really seeing the gameplay. I'm seeing like comp wins. So that's somebody that would have to convince me.
Do you think that because he survived, I think we talked about this last week, because he survived so many times on the block early on, that it will help him?
No, I don't care about that personally.
Okay.
But I guess.
Okay. Anything about Michael Brazil?
No, I mean, again, I feel like he kind of went into the background a little bit after. Well, I guess the limelight was off him after he was off the block for the third time, and then he started winning some things. But I don't know, like you were saying, between pro Ronnie and anti Ronnie, it seemed like there was kind of a clear divide at one point, and so after that, it's been a little bit predictable. Not predictable, but like you kind of know where it's going to go depending on who wins what.
Yeah, I mean, he did get Kilby out, which is a big move. That
that was a big move.
Yeah. Okay, two more. Owen.
I think Owen is just like great, like because even while he was against me in the game, like I just like couldn't be mad at him, And to me, I see strategy, I see the whole, he's the most complete player, I think, and like I would be thrilled to vote for him at the end. I don't know why I'm like framing it like that, like who I'm going to vote for, but I'm thinking about this obviously.
Brazil.
I don't know. I know nothing as a viewer because I feel like he's not talked about much. But obviously,
Really?
she says not really. I mean,
I feel like I talk about his
before he won this last HOH. I don't really know. Well, I guess he won that. No, I don't know. I don't really recall anything about Owen that sticks out to me. Other than everyone comes on here and says he's great and they think he might win.
So. Which is what everybody said about Karen. I mean, he's getting the Karen edits in an extra whip and to a degree where he's the golden boy and like Karen. And you would think last season, everybody came in and said, Karen's going to win. You got to get her out. And this season, there's quite a few, pro Owens, not as many, but he's still in the game. And I definitely thought, let's talk real quick about that. Okay. So we'll get back to Owen because I do want to talk about why you took Owen off the block with the poo. Quickly, Rayanne, I will say I've played with her a lot. I've seen her play a lot. She plays the exact same way every single time, but it's effective. She always makes it far. She's rarely an early boot.
Well, she has a great social game, did you say?
Exactly. She's just somebody you want to keep around. Do you agree, Bridget?
Yeah, like I think it's similar to Javier. I think I've had like more game talks with her, but I think it's a similar kind of just like, hey, I'm here, I'm inoffensive, I'm not a threat, but I'm not such a lunatic that you need to take me out.
And one last thing about Owen before we get back to that. Owen and I played an LRG together and we made final 3 and he voted me out. And those of you who have played with me before know that if I get voted out of final 3, I'm very, very unlikely to vote for the person who voted me out to win, because I'm just a petty bitch and a bitter juror. And yet I did not vote for him to win, but I was really, really, did I? No, I did not. I did not vote for him to win, but I was really, really, really close. I was legit thinking about it while I was in the room with the piece of paper and the pen, and I'm just like going back and forth. So that's how good he is, that he can vote somebody out at final 3. And that person who's a bitter Betty is legit thinking about voting for him. So yeah. Okay. So real quick, last thing, you used the Pooh Brown Power veto on Owen. Do you regret that? Because it's debatable that if you took Brooke or Jenna off and Owen was on the block, it's debatable that it could have gone differently.
No, because literally Brooke and Jenna both said they would have voted for me if I took them off. Like, and I would, and when I was making those deals, I was like, obviously somebody can lie.
But not those votes. Would you have gotten the other votes on Owen if you took Brooke or Jenna off?
I don't think so. I kind of don't think so.
Because Kennedy could have broken the tie, right?
That's the thing. You and Kennedy were banking on a 2-2 tie so that you stay and Brooke would have gone, and you were 1 vote away. So if Owen was the other person instead of Brooke, would that have convinced that person in question, I don't want to reveal names, to vote Owen out?
I mean, I don't think so, because they were willing, they so wanted me out so badly that they gave Jenna the fast forward. So I feel like those people are just all really loyal to each other. I don't think it would have mattered.
So late in the game to get a fast forward. So late, like, wow.
I was gagged. I was absolutely shocked.
Oh. So last thing, is there anything else you want to say? I have one other question for you, but I'll just give you the floor.
It's all game. It's all game, everybody. Like, we're good.
You were recommended to me by obviously Karen and Steven, and I'm always afraid to have new people on, just because people who don't know me, because I'm worried that what if they don't get me? What if they don't understand that it's funny. It's a serious org in that the minimal participation required thing is, not really true. There, I said it. But at the same time, it is also a rinky-dink org where there's a lot of just fun and it doesn't follow the typical conventions of a real org. So I'm always worried that the person's not going to have fun. So I'm going to ask you, did you have fun?
I had a blast, especially when Kilby was in the game. Like that shit was just like, I loved playing with him, and like talking to everybody was like fun, and the like maneuvering around the having the 3 noms and the Wonka twist was like very fun. And I feel like I'm a Survivor girly. I don't understand Big Brother, and I feel like I have at least like a modicum of understanding of like Big Brother strategy now. So I did have fun.
Oh, love that. Okay, thank you so much, Bridget. With that said, who will win the Golden Power Veto? Find out tomorrow. And then Monday, will they use it to save Michael, Rayanne, or Kennedy from the chopping block? And then Tuesday, the final 3 nominees plead their case, and Joanne makes us some s'mores. And Wednesday is the next live eviction and head of household competition, where another house guest will be evicted from the Big Brother Cheesecake 7 house, get a tummy ache from eating too much chocolate, and lose their shot at the $700 cash prize. I'm Andrew Chefs of Moonves. Take care, and remember, 9 out of 10 dentists agree Crunch is great for their business. Good night.